Well, it's a hot day. When the AC is on, it's pretty warm in here. I mean, when it's off. And when it's on, it's pretty cold in here. It is the right AC for this room. And it also keeps the kitchen a little cool. But yeah, I need some fresh air in here. Sure. Well, one intelligent video for the day is probably enough. Soapball is just you and me. I don't have anything else intelligent to say. That's better. I'll wake up now. Oxygen. You can kind of feel the coolness of the earlier rain come through the air. It's kind of nice. So, I don't think the weather alerts are very accurate. Currently 78, feels like 78. That may be accurate. Isolated thunderstorms. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Last week it was supposed to be cool. Well, high of 82. Ooh, boy. 90. 90 tomorrow. Thursday is 81. Thursday is 81. So instead of Wednesday being cool, Thursday is going to be cool. According to this. It was a short video. I might check on the upload. 2 minutes I think when I buy 2 or more kind of small items from Amazon, I'm just going to combine shipping. I don't want them having to come out here all the time for little things. You know, they're under enough duress. They're so busy, I imagine. I think I'm going to remember to combine shipping. And so things come maybe a day or 2 later than they would otherwise, but still, I think Amazon drivers would appreciate that. I was watching on the news. There's a shortage of school bus drivers. So there was, let's see, I'm trying to think of which one it was. One major metropolitan area that wasn't going to be able to secure enough drivers to provide bus transportation for all the students and they laid out a map of which students from where are going to walk to school. And one mother was briefly interviewed, and she said, my little, and she named a name, isn't going to walk to school even in a group. They're offering some parents a $700 bonus to take their kids to school. But then they interviewed one mother briefly who said she has 2 jobs. She can't take her kids to school and pick them up. So, I'm trying to think of where it was. Oh, I think it was in Prince George County in Maryland. Right? Prince George County? Is that right? Which is a very large metropolitan area. You know, right outside of DC and stuff. So, I don't know why there's a shortage of drivers. I guess drivers had so much time off, they found other employment or something. And I know train drivers in Germany are on strike. So the German people aren't moving very much. They're not being able to travel. And of course, Children's Health Defense had an article on the children are twice as anxious and twice as depressed as in previous years with all this COVID stuff and masks and arguments and this and that. And there are fewer school psychologists and counselors and social workers in the schools. Now, I don't know why that is either, unless they found other jobs. I guess school has been in and out intermittently. There's a shortage of teachers, bus drivers, and school counselors, psychologists, and sociologists. So I don't know where everybody is. And without people working for so long, I don't know where the tax base is. Because one of the biggest news stories is that corporations aren't paying any taxes. So who has been the tax base? Oh my God, have we been borrowing from China again? It's not a good idea. When you're registering public objections to Chinese activity in the South China Sea. I don't know why I can't get this sentence out. Kamala Harris made a statement of objection to Chinese activity in the South China Sea. Because apparently China built some islands to put ships or arms or something on in the South China Sea. Now, I knew about this a couple years ago. But last I knew, and I don't know exactly when that was, China was our largest debtor nation. So, it's kind of politically tenuous. I know I've said this several times. I followed what happened right after 9/11. And on one of my computers, I copied all the news stories I could get because I suspected the news was going to disappear. And one of the things I saw that I have on another computer, which I don't know if God has access to, I assume he does. And I don't remember the newspaper, but the Congress passed Most Favored Nation status for China on September 15th, 4 days after 9/11. And as far as I know, the Republicans had been trying to put it through, and it wasn't working. And the only other thing I know is that Ted Kennedy was opposed. So that was my stance too, because, Ted is politically astute and a man of integrity. Or, was. He's late now. He's passed. I don't know what that means in this time of ours either. So I don't know who's in heaven, and I don't know. If it were up to me to judge Ted Kennedy, I'd give him an A+ for character. Bobby Kennedy gets an A++, and I'm sure Ted doesn't mind me saying that because he's probably very proud. Bobby Kennedy Jr. Bobby Kennedy Sr. and John Kennedy. Everybody loves them, so they don't need a rating. I've said this before, too. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is leading the nation. I don't even know if he knows it. I know it. And I think it's a very good thing that his book, The Truth About Anthony Fauci, is a #1 bestseller already on pre-order. Prepay pre-order, so you can't beat that. I think I'm going to buy the hardcover out of September pay. I think I can do that. I thought it was $30, it's only $22. I think $22.47 at Amazon. And he wrote a letter to his Children's Self-Defense members. Thank you because you have made The Truth About Anthony Fauci the #1 bestseller. Now, I don't know if he said New York Times or what. And he asked the rest of us to go ahead and pre-order to keep the momentum going. And he is such a consistent and intelligent and knowledgeable advocate for children. It's just very impressive to somebody like me who wanted God to intervene or God to do something about children being in mind control programs run by the government. I mean, it's torture, mind control, implantation, programming of all kinds for little 3-year-olds and shit. That was my thing, And God's been around, and I've been speaking my piece for 18 years now, really. And I met God 18 years ago. And He has had me saying everything I know about every friggin' thing I know about. And mine was Satanism, ritual abuse, and the government mind control of children. I don't even know if Bobby Kennedy knows about it. If he does, he probably spent a long time puking. And he sure has found a lot of harm to children in some of these vaccines for childhood. Rich took 6 vaccines and boosters, as far as I recall. And nowadays, children are getting 81. And for a while, I don't know if they're doing it now, 1-day-old babies were getting the Hep B vaccine. And Hep B is transmitted sexually and with needles, infected needles. They did say a Hep B mother can pass it on to her infant. So, there is all reality there. All reality. about all the children in the nation getting a Hep B vaccine when they're 1 day old and they have no immune system whatsoever? What's so different about that and Satanism? You're damaging, causing pain to, risking the life of a newborn baby. I don't know, it just doesn't seem all that different. But as far as I know, as public as my venue has been, and I don't know how limited that's been, I'm the only person speaking publicly about the mind control of children having it in the government. United States government programs, Pentagon's black budget. So if people are aware, it's because God gave me a voice. And if they are aware, then if they survive the awareness of it, which I imagine could be pretty hard because it was hard for me. You mean there are people who do that? There are people who actually worship the devil? I mean, people, like suburban families, not just vampires in Europe, who go to blood banks and drink blood. I mean, Jesus. Drink the blood, leave the children alone. That's my view. So if people are aware of it now, it's because God, the second coming of Christ, I guess. I mean, He chose me to share all my knowledge. And I've been reasonably safe. I mean, He's guided me to dodge some perceived dangers. Because I believe I have been very, very safe since meeting Him. And I believe He protected me when I was married to a man who was false, too. Because I wasn't tortured or anything. My son wasn't tortured. I worried about that for a long time, about my son. So my whole world was about protecting that child from any kind of abuse. That was my whole world for a long time. And I was afraid of my extended family and my immediate family, the family of origin, and I trusted more Richard Henning Jr.'s immediate family and extended family, and it turns out I was wrong to do that too. So Faye and Joe, the way I saw it, we were the pariahs of the family. So when we lived in Miami, we didn't get treated very well by them. And they would visit for weekends with their other grandchildren. Well, Brittany and Caitlin, I guess. And there was a lot of caretaking of Billy and April's children, Vince and Matt and Fawn. But, I would say to them, well, maybe one of these months you could take Rich for a weekend. Because I had this idea that, he could spend a weekend with his grandparents, away from home, getting a new experience. I was confident he would be okay. But that didn't turn out either. I mean, they rejected us, which turns out to be a good thing. Because I don't think he would have been safe with them. And I didn't know that. And I didn't know that I had so many practicing black magic people in my world or my son's world or Richard Henning Jr.'s world, or that Richard Henning Jr. was one of them. I mean, how do you survive a situation like that intact? But To the best of my knowledge, it was me and God all along, and I never met or even saw Richard Hanning Jr. But God has given an authentic, virtual reality experience to me and to the people who have hurt me or tried to hurt me. And, Harry has red hair. I've never seen Harry. And earlier on it was like, I've never met them, they've never met me. I don't know what they look like, they don't know what I look like. So this is God providing a safe journey for his children to presumably correct or begin to correct the injustices on Earth, starting with children, is my opinion. And that has to be a starting point. You have to start with the most vulnerable, so that's... Here I'm saying something intelligent again, which means I'm going to have to upload this and publish it. So, I guess I'll do that.